The Bold and the Beautiful Thursday, December 18th recap. Thomas ends Deke's Forrester career. Thursday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful delivered major shake-ups at Forrester Creations, as Thomas Forrester made a stunning return that immediately changed everything, and not everyone walked away unscathed. By the end of the episode, Deke Sharp's future at Forrester Creations was effectively over, while the Spencers celebrated a bold new beginning for Katie. The drama kicked off at Forrester Creations, where Zende Forrester Dominguez caught Steffi Forrester Finnegan completely off guard with a surprising announcement: Thomas was back. Moments later, Thomas himself made a confident entrance, strutting through the doors like he had never left. Steffi was thrilled to see her brother and welcomed him with open arms. Thomas quickly got to the point, announcing that he was ready, and eager, to return to work on Hope Logan Spencer's fashion line. According to Thomas, there was no longer any need for green talent like Deke, since he and Zende could handle the workload themselves. While Thomas spoke with confidence, the implications of his return were immediately clear. Elsewhere at Forrester Creations, Deke Sharp was growing increasingly uneasy. Despite all the work he'd done, none of his designs had actually been used yet, and the writing seemed to be on the wall. Deke confided his fears about his future, clearly worried that his opportunity at Forrester might be slipping away before it ever truly began. Hope Logan Spencer tried to reassure him. She acknowledged that Zende had more experience and the powerful Forrester name behind him, but she promised Deke that she would continue to look out for her brother. Still, Hope's words couldn't erase the reality that Deke was now competing against legacy talent, and losing ground fast. Meanwhile, at home, Ridge Forrester shared a tense conversation with Brooke Logan Forrester. Ridge voiced his doubts about Brooke's remarriage to Bill Spencer, confidently predicting that Bill would eventually let her down again. When that happened, Ridge suggested it would be good for Katie to have stability at Forrester Creations to fall back on. Brooke, however, wanted to keep the peace. She insisted that Katie deserved support and appreciation, and she hoped to smooth things over rather than assume the worst. Back at Forrester, Ridge soon learned about Thomas' return and his desire to reclaim his role on Hope for the future. In the showroom, Thomas made his case in dramatic fashion, gesturing toward the runway and the iconic Forrester logo as he insisted that this was where he truly belonged. Thomas didn't stop there. He took a thinly veiled jab at Deke, referring to him as the pizzamaker's son, while emphasizing how much stronger the company would be with a true Forrester back in place. The message was unmistakable. Thomas believed Deke never belonged there in the first place. Steffi was confident she could get Hope on board, pointing out that she and Hope were in a much better place these days. And even if Hope resisted, Steffi reminded Thomas that the final decision rested with her and Ridge. Later, Ridge spoke privately with Thomas and raised concerns about Douglas Forrester, noting how much Douglas loved his life in Paris. Ridge worried that Thomas' return to Los Angeles could disrupt his son's stability. Thomas brushed those concerns aside, explaining that he wouldn't have to uproot Douglas permanently. Instead, Thomas suggested he could simply travel back and forth as needed to handle the fashion line, allowing Douglas to keep the life he loved. Eventually, Steffi sat down with Hope and delivered the news she'd been dreading. Thomas was back, and he wanted his old job on Hope for the future. Hope immediately focused on what really mattered to her. What did this mean for Deke? Steffi tried to soften the blow, assuring Hope that Deke had talent and a bright future ahead of him. However, she made one thing painfully clear: that future would not be at Forrester Creations. With Thomas reclaiming his spot, there was simply no room left. The message was devastating. Thomas' return hadn't just shifted the power dynamic, it had ended Deke's Forrester career altogether. Over at Spencer Publications, the tone couldn't have been more different. Katie Spencer updated Will Spencer on Bill's extravagant wedding gift, a fashion house of her very own. Will was immediately thrilled and joined Bill in encouraging Katie to embrace this incredible opportunity. Katie hesitated, worried that accepting the offer could negatively impact Will's career at Forrester Creations. Will quickly dismissed her concerns, reminding her that he could always work at Spencer Publications if needed. For him, Katie's happiness mattered more than anything else. With Bill and Will firmly in her corner, Katie finally made her decision. She agreed to move forward with the fashion house, officially stepping into a bold new chapter of her life. The moment ended with a heartfelt embrace between Katie, Bill, and Will, a powerful contrast to the heartbreak unfolding at Forrester Creations. By the end of Thursday's episode, the lines had been clearly drawn. Thomas' return restored the Forrester legacy but came at a steep cost. Deke was out. Hope was conflicted. And Steffi had once again asserted her authority. Meanwhile, Katie's choice promised to send shockwaves through the fashion world, setting the stage for an inevitable clash between her new venture and Forrester Creations. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers tease that the fallout is just beginning. Loyalties will be tested, careers will be reshaped, and the consequences of these decisions will ripple through Los Angeles in the days ahead. One thing is certain, after Thursday's episode, nothing at Forrester Creations, or in the Spencer family, will ever be the same again.